Yes, Mother Nature is so powerful. We're making new discoveries every day, Alana.
A flash you don't forget. My goodness, Texas to Missouri, that's a wide berth there. Live view right now from Emery County. Look at that smoke. We're seeing it in eastern Utah, the south central portion of the state. And how about that haze? Nelson Peak, our ABC4 camera showing that thick wildfire smoke overnight and this morning. And then as the air warms up, it rises and we see that smoke disperse. Those hazy conditions out there. Love that camera and that view. As we look at our futurecast smoke model, it shows that the smoke coming from the Grand Canyon fires, White Sage and Dragon Bravo, impacting Lake Powell to Grand County, especially by 10 p.m. The Monroe Canyon fire continues to put off hefty smoke. Emery County, the Carbon Corridor extending all the way up to the Uinta Basin and even into southwestern Wyoming. We're going to see smoke-filled skies on the eastern side of the state. Stick around for the close of your work week with hazy conditions expected along the Wasatch Front and in the southwestern corner of the Beehive State. Air quality impacts oftentimes come with this wildfire smoke. We're no stranger to this. We've seen it for the last several weeks. Moderate air along the Wasatch Front, Wasatch Back, and in northeastern Utah, where elevated particulate matter is expected. Our southwesterly winds cleaning out Tooele County. Green means clean. Live view from the Black Desert Skycam as we sit with temperatures just over 100 degrees, very close to average, but that area also underneath a red flag warning. Critical fire danger. You've heard us say it all summer. It continues today for a big portion of the West Desert, the Central Mountains, the Color Country Mountains, so south central Utah, into the Swell and up towards the Uinta Basin and Book Cliffs. We're going to see these fire alerts in effect for the next several hours and some holding on even into the weekend. As we look at our wind gusts, southwesterly winds impacting the western side of the state, but look at Castle Country, Green River, Salt Lake with a 31-mile-per-hour gust. Southwest winds are warm. They're also very dry. Looking at our relative humidity, dry fire fuels exist. When you see single digits on this map, you know it's the middle of summer in the Beehive State. Newest drought percents are out. Not great news here. We actually saw increases when it comes to severe drought. Now 61% of the Beehive State, including in central Utah, the big part of the western side of the state now under severe drought. That went up 2% from last week. So did extreme drought. Now I know you're looking at this number and going, that's not that much. Up 1% from last week as the red begins to pepper the map towards northwestern Utah, over near the Uintas and in the West Desert, knocking on the door in St. George. You know, it's no surprise the drought monitor continues to worsen. Look at the Salt Lake map here. This is our precip map. Only 2 days of measurable moisture this month. We're heading into August with below average precipitation, and we saw hotter temperatures than that 30-year normal. Hotter, drier, the recipe for a rough fire season, and we're living and breathing it. Live view of those southwesterly winds at work. Our ABC4 Colonial Flag Tower camera showing that off. 94 degrees right now in the state capital. We dropped from 97. We are seeing just a few storms develop towards Elko that could drift over into the western Box Elder County area. Gusty winds expected. No moisture there. We're really staying dry, and we have been. 90s in the northern half of the state, 95 in Moab, 100 in St. George. As we look at the Wasatch Front and back right now, a mix of mid-90s. That's average, but the heat is on in places like Morgan with the upper 80s and Heber, 82 right now in Park City. 90s ease into the 80s along the Wasatch Front with mostly clear skies and dry conditions overnight. And into Friday and into Saturday. Here's the futurecast, and it really tells a dry story. Perhaps a slight uptick of moisture towards the Four Corners by Friday, Saturday. West Desert could see some as this low kind of pushes over our ridge of high pressure that could slightly flatten the ridge. We'll see what happens. This is the dominant weather feature. Our Four Corners high, as southwest wind just doesn't stop when it's in position. We keep moisture to the north. You know, early next week, I think fire danger will return with red flag warnings because the winds pick up on Monday. 90s for those highs, 99 in Moab, 103 in St. George. Next 7 days in Washington County, hot, dry, and windy. Slight chance we see a thunderstorm. Gosh, maybe next week. Wednesday. It's going to be a while. Here's the Wasatch Front with those average temperatures in the mid-90s. It's hot this time of year, but we don't see precip on the forecast. Hello, August. A warm welcome. Perhaps you wanted a wet one.
Yeah. Well, we needed a wet one. So incredibly dry. My goodness.